All right, y'all. We back. We back. I ain't gonna wait. I'm gonna go ahead and get this started because my time is rolling, y'all. If y'all missed the first part of the live, y'all go check the first part of the live. I had to stop it because I didn't want it to be too long. Yeah, so I had to do 2 parts. So stay focused. Anyway, you got false prophets. It says false 38. False prophets lead you to worship them, a imaginary God or entity. Hashtag demons. Hashtag hell. Hashtag lost lands. This is why you got to be careful with who you follow. This is why you got to be careful who you under the leadership of. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a church. It could be a mosque. It could be it don't matter. It could be a cardboard box. Wherever you are, whoever you are looking up to, be mindful who you are following, because some people will lead you straight into a ditch. Lost world, lost lands. And you wonder why you can't prosper. You wonder why you can't find love. You wonder why your money won't grow. You wonder why everything seems to be crumbling in your life, because you 9 times out of 10 got some dead weight around you that's wishing secretly on your downfall. Witchcraft. Spell word. But y'all look at people like me and think that I got time to do it on y'all ass. Baby, I got bigger fish to fry. I don't have time to sit here and do no little small ass, rinky-dink 5 and below ass, Dollar Tree ass spells on nobody. I don't have time. I'm too busy praying for y'all stinking asses. Stay focused. So it says false prophets lead you to worship them, a imaginary God. They begin to pretend that they God at this point. A lot of y'all going to churches and you are worshiping your leaders as God. And then when real spirituals like myself who choose not to go to your buildings, I worship God everywhere. I worship God throughout the day, all day, right? And because I choose to do so, you judge me, right? Because I don't look like what you used to. But you will choose to go and follow a false prophet who's full of demons, who's secretly behind closed doors doing witchcraft, who's secretly behind closed doors playing in magic and spells and all of that type of stuff. Feel me? But these are the people that you want to call bishop, deacon, and governor, and whoever hell else, whatever these titles, okay? You place it where it goes. So now these people have become your God, right? Jealous God. Doesn't the Bible talks about a jealous God worshiping other gods or idols or celebrities? But a lot of y'all listen. Y'all don't want me to talk about it. But it is what it is. I've already covered it. A lot of y'all have placed a lot of these people above yourself. You have made them your gods. And God said, hey, I am a jealous God. Place no man above me. No man. And you did. You still do. You are. Till this day. It's so many men above you. So many women above you that you can't even see you. Get deep, y'all. Demon worshiping celebrities sold souls for fame. Reason why you seeing a lot of your celebrities crumble right before your eyes is because they were worshiping the other side. Unfortunately, they sold their soul for fame, like the Hunger Games, right? Not just fame, but you know what it was, the Squid Games, the Hunger Games, and the what that movie was, A Long Walk. Basically, everybody would do anything for $1, right? Anything for clout, anything for followers, anything for fame, anything, right? You have sold your soul. So you're seeing a lot of these, especially male celebrities, i.e. male singers. A lot of these singers are on stage looking a fool and sounding just as foolish. I'm sorry, but I ain't. A lot of these celebrities that we were crushing on, we loved when we were kids, ooh, they so fine, ooh, they so sexy, ooh, I just wish she was our husband, blah, blah, blah. And now you looking up and you like, what in the Rome is going on here? I'm sorry, Rome, forgive me. But at the end of the day, a lot of these men have taken their fame, their ego, their pride, their macho-ness, that arrogance, and all of that jazz, right, to their head, put themselves on their little pedestal, right? And they got worship so much today to worship their little selves out. Now they fucked out and they looked halfway out of here. Half of them 35 on stage looking 65. They bald before it was time to go bald. Their stamina is zero. And I'm not making fun of any of this. But if you live by that sword, you will die by that thing. And a lot of these people in them positions of fame have cracked open Pandora's box. Not only did you sell your soul to the man for fame, but then you turn around and now you in Pandora's box and you secretly entering all these orgies and sex parties and scandalous rituals and all this stuff that these folks that claim is conspiracy theorists. None of that shit is conspiracy. It's real. It's a real thing. It's been going on for years. And sex magic is real. Group sex is a thing. Y'all know that. But I'm talking about really, really big groups. And people are doing some really, really wicked things. And it's so many different demons and spirits swirling around. Yeah. So it's like you're double selling your soul. And then you feel me? And then now these people are controlling your fame. Because you got to keep selling your soul. Your energy runs out. So they have to keep feeding off of you. It's kind of like Princess and the Frog when the man was a tarot reader and he was like basically telling them, yeah, the cards is telling you can get all this money and all type of jazz, right? But what he did was he had swapped the two men. He had destiny swapped the men. He put one rich man into a poor man body and put the poor man into the rich man body. And then he had to keep the poor man looking rich, right? But he had to keep feeding off of the rich man. So moral of the story is you selling your soul ain't gonna just be a one-time thing. They have to feed off of you to keep you going, keep draining you, which is why you see a lot of your celebrities who have disappeared. You see a lot of celebrities that fell off. You see a lot of celebrities on stage looking a fool. They ain't even, you talking about, they y'all be in the comments talking about they designer must hate them. No, they broke. They master is no longer funding the events. They ain't giving no more. They don't want to sacrifice no more. So now they're not being fed. So now they're stealing off of small content creators like myself, because I have seen, again, I'm going to say it again, so many celebrities I've been watching lately. I'm listening at y'all. Y'all niggas is really stealing my content, stealing my material, and think I don't know my material when I hear it. I know me when I hear me. You can't do me better than me. Now, I'm glad that I can inspire you, but give me my credit. Tell folks you got it from me. Because you ain't got to tell them, because guess what? Folks don't know anyway, because they're going to know it ain't came from you. What's meant for you, people will know. People will know when it's genuinely yours or when it's something you faking. A lot of y'all out here repeating stuff that you ain't even lived. And then when you mess around and open your mouth and you speak that spell over yourself, you now got to live it, because that's the power of your words. So this is why you got to be mindful of copying folks and saying things about yourself that's not true, or talking down on yourself, or even lying to yourself. Like now, if you, okay, it's a healthy way you can lie to yourself. Like, okay, I know that sounds crazy, but if you're going to fake it till you make it in a positive way. Like, okay, today I'm going to have a good day. Even though I know I'm feeling crappy, but today is a great day. I'm tricking my brain to believe today is a great day so that today can become a great day. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not going to go and say, oh, I'm not going to say no ridiculous stuff that's, I know for a fact is off the wall. You know what I'm saying? That is a lie to myself that's going to basically put me in a space of where the universe has to make me actually become what I'm speaking. So you got to be mindful what you speak. Words are real and they are spells. So it says demon worshiping celebs sold their souls for fame. Fake top, fall from grace, Hunger Games begins. And that's what y'all are seeing. You are experiencing a lot of celebrities who have failed from grace. A lot of them were blessed with voices and talents and all of that. And they cheated their way to the top. They did witchcraft their way. They witchcraft their way to the top. They lied their way to the top. They manipulated their way to the top. They degraded their way to the top. They deceived their way to the top. So of course that top was not real. The foundation was false. They thought it was real. So that's why you're seeing a lot of fake, lot of old celebrities that you've been worshiping, putting above yourself, now on TV looking thrown away. They look overweight, or they ain't got no team, or they clothes all over the place, or they can't dance, or they sound a mess. Because God, that's what we call great Humpty Dumpty having a great big fall. That ego will always cause you to fall. And a lot of people had to get in egos to get into those places. And guess what? A lot of them don't even believe in God or goddesses. Yep. A lot of the people that you worshiping, you following, don't even believe in God. Don't even have a real relationship with God. So literally, they zombie, and now you zombie because you idolizing them. You're putting these people on your pedestal when God is exposing these people right before your eyes. Why do you think all these files and stuff is coming out and all these celebrities and stuff? And then they keep trying to throw distractions in your way so you don't see the truth of what's happening. But Hollywood is now being exposed to be Bollywood, a fake story. Everything was just a big ass stage and everybody was acting on it. But the problem is a lot of people lost their passion. Because see, the thing is passion is true wealth. And if they'd have kept their passion would keep them at the top. But because they got to the point where they started making money their God, they lost their passion. So now they don't love what they do anymore because they're not getting paid to do it. Well, music is going out of y'all listening to music, is streaming, it's free, and we not getting paid and da da da. You would get paid if you had passion. Back when y'all made music and movies with love and care, y'all was sitting on the tizop. What are you talking about? Oh, baby, she a great actor, man. I'm telling you to watch every movie I don't care if I gotta go buy it on bootleg. Damn it, I bought it. I'm watching it. The energy, the abundance comes from me even tuning into you. Not from the pocket, the money that getting put in your pocket. The true money is the fact that people even like you, even tuning in, watching you. That's the true wealth. That's what brings your abundance. But y'all done got so caught up in trying to get famous and stay on top and not go back to poverty and all that to the point you are literally falling. I'm talking about 100 miles per hour, head down to the ground first. Because you're doing any and everything to stay on the fake top. The top is crumbling, boo. It ain't real. Get down. Get down and earn your way up naturally, organically. Like you used to do. Get back. Like she said, what Kim Burrell said, we got to get back to getting God, get God back in the pews. We got to get God back in the pulpit. Because a lot of y'all have lost God. And you just in the church. Hooping and hollering. Stealing for money. In your ego and in your flesh. Because you're not operating in your spirit. You got to get God back in the pulpit. If you want your church, which is not a place. Let me before I finish, which is not a place for you to become God. I mean, it's not a place for you to go and worship the preacher as God. It's a place for you to go and lift up the God spirit within all of us. The goddess spirit within each of us. So we go to these places of worship because I'm not telling nobody not to go to church no more. What I'm telling you is go to a church where people are actually worshiping and lifting spirits high so that we can all, you feel me, feel good about ourselves, knowing when we leave that there's still no one above the God or goddess within me. Yes, I have a preacher, I have a bishop, I have a leader, I have an apostle, I have a whatever, somebody who's giving me the instructions of God that I may not be able to comprehend on my own. So I need somebody to help simplify the message for me, which is what a preacher is, a translator, to translate the heavenly messages. That's it. That's just like a person who's deaf and I'm doing sign language. I'm not here to steer you wrong. I'm here to tell you what the other people are saying, so because you can't hear them. So at the end of the day, the same way with certain people who aren't tapped into their spiritual side, they may not hear the voice of God yet. So they have to have a spiritual leader above them to translate and interpret for them. But now a lot of them have taken it out of context, then became power hungry. They didn't put themselves on the pedestal and became God. Now they fake speaking in tongue and prophet lying to you. And because you lack the knowledge and you don't know God for yourself, you just taking anything they say to you. They can tell you God said go and cheat on your husband and you'll believe. They can say, oh, God said give me all your money and you'll believe. And a lot of y'all doing it. And this is how you getting bamboozled. You are literally being what's the word? Hustled by your higher ups, who you call leaders. You are being, what's the word? Extorted. Because they are extorting y'all out of land, churches, deeds, titles. Y'all are being extorted, especially in Holiness Church. Especially the Tabernacle of Faith that I came from. That church extorted their congregation to the point of no return. So many people got robbed, and because they lacked the knowledge and the wisdom, they were robbed blind by a woman they worshiped as God. Y'all better listen to me. These people that you worshiping lack a personal relationship with God. They don't know God. They're imposters. 44, now stealing from the lower class energies, trying to remain at the top, the fake top, soulless, clones, the Joneses. They go back to me telling y'all about these preachers, because I got a lot of fake preachers that be watching me now online, watching me online, and they be stealing my material, going back in their church, trying to demonize me for being who I am, but then at the same time, in the same breath, using my material in their church to keep their congregation going. So they feeding off of me because they think I'm at a lower level than them. They think because I don't get but 10 or 15 likes here and there, oh, they think I don't nobody see me. But just because people don't like my shit, just because you don't see people commenting, don't mean they not seeing me. That's where you messing up in. So a lot of people are getting the messages. They just ain't tapping in physically, but they tapped in. So at the end of the day, pay attention. Y'all finna see so much going on. You feel me? These people been stealing, like I said, these celebrities, they losing creativity. They're losing passion. They done lost their souls. That's why God said, don't sell your soul. The book says, don't know. The same book y'all be beating everybody with. You sold your soul. You went and sold your soul. And then you want to get on TV and pretend that you got it. Then you want to get on TV and pretend that you wise. A lot of y'all got podcasts out here. Half of y'all don't even need a microphone. Half of y'all don't even need a camera because y'all out here misleading the people worse than the church. Y'all out here saying all kind of stupid shit on these videos, and a lot of people just scrolling, watching y'all and filling they vessel up with a whole bunch of crap because they think you know what you're talking about because you're on a podcast. They messed up when they gave everybody a camera and a microphone. I ain't gonna lie. And why is it a million cameras at our damn parks? That ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but that just randomly popped up. Parks used to be sacred. Used to be where we can go and get away from all the hustle and bustle and the noise of the world. But now y'all rebuilding these new parks and taking away the sacredness and adding so many cameras on the damn poles and so many eyes everywhere we turn. I don't know who watching me. I go to the park to connect with God. I go to the park to connect with nature, to ground myself. Even if that means I might need to kneel down on my knees and cry and pray by a tree. I don't need that exploited all over the fucking internet. I don't need some weirdo behind some camera watching me. I don't know who. Against my will. And that's what's pissing me off about Tuscaloosa. Y'all are taking down our parks and y'all are repairing them. Yes, we love that. But why does it have to have 20 million cameras on every damn pole? Every 2 steps. You are literally surveillancing me against my will. I understand 1 or 2 cameras. I understand you got to keep an eye on your property. But bitch, y'all are invading privacy at this point. Y'all have just outdone it with the cameras. And this is what also the Bible talked about. Is us, all these extra eyes on you. You never know when you're being watched. This is why you got to be a good individual all the time. Because you just never know when you're being watched. And it ain't always about higher power or spiritual stuff. You being watched everywhere you turn. Cameras are always on your ass. Everybody around you has a camera. Everywhere you go, there is a camera. Nothing is sacred anymore. Not even a damn church. I can remember back in the day, you wouldn't even be able to bring a camera in the church. Unless you were recording the word. And once that was done, the camera was cut off. But now we got cameras everywhere and we are robbing people blind of their sacred, intimate moments, intimate connection, connectedness with God. And going to the park is a place of worship. It's a sacred place. And y'all have robbed us of all of our sacredness. Sorry, y'all. Woo, had a rant about that. Because I'm tired of going to all these parks. And every time I look up, oh, we got a new park. Okay, they knocked down the old park. Okay, I understand we got to have new stuff. But damn, do we got to have 1 million cameras? And I'm not saying that I don't need no camera on me. Not saying that I'm going to do something I don't need to be, that I ain't got no business. I'm just simply saying is nobody wants to be watched everywhere they go. All the time. People. Anyway, 45. Robbing themselves of true connection to self. Hold on. So now stealing from the lower class energies, trying to remain at the fake top, soulless clones, the Joneses. Robbing themselves of true connection to self. So moral of the story is when you mimic other people, when you are faking it till you make it, when you playing possum and refusing to see the truth, and when you're refusing to go along with the updatedness of the world, when you choosing to stay in tradition and straddling the fence, you are literally robbing yourself of a true connection to the Most High God, the higher power. 46. The ability to think for yourself is Christ consciousness. I'm going to read that again. The ability to think for yourself is Christ consciousness. That goes back to Jesus. We're going to talk about Jesus and everything, y'all. Stay focused. So the ability to think for yourself is Christ consciousness. So you need to think for yourself. Stop allowing other people to run and control your life. Now rise up from the dead, the slumber, the hypnosis. Because people can tell you anything. And when they tell you all kind of fluff, it puts you on a slumber, under hypnosis, and it blinds you and it puts a veil over your eyes. And that's where the problem is. A lot of us are still walking around with this veil, these rose-colored glasses of how we think God is or how we think Jesus is. Some of you believe in Jesus, some of you don't. Some of you don't know if you should accept Jesus. I don't know if you need to cast him away. Some of you don't know if you need to keep your Bible, you need to throw it away. You just don't know if you need to go to church or you don't know. Because 2026 is so all over the place, you don't know. And that's why I'm doing this video, to help you know, give you some direction. Okay? Now, let's get to the meat and the potatoes of what the Bible really is. Okay? The Bible is degrading. The degrading of women in the Bible is the title of what I wrote. The degrading of women in the Bible. And most of my references, most of my messages came from, I think, I'm going to just say Mr. Donahue. Because they, Google got the man name wrong. I don't know. It's 2 different names, but let's just say Mr. Donahue. And those with the eyes and the ears will hear. And our eyes will see, and those with the ears will hear. If you know Mr. Donahue, then you'll know, because when I get into this, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it says the degrading of women in the Bible. Mr. Donahue had a program talking about this. So I took notes on it to add to what I was saying. So it talks about mysticism. It's the pursuit. Mysticism, this is the definition. Mysticism is the pursuit of a direction, personal experience, divine reality, the absolute or oneness with the universe, often transcending intellectual understanding and conventional religion rituals. Okay? This is mysticism. This is what mysticism means. All right? It emphasizes an intimate, often unitive connection with the divine, characterized by subjective inward experience rather than outward doctrine. Moral of the story is, it's basically saying is, build an intimate relationship with the Most High God, become a unit with God, connect with the divine within, right? Go within, right? Characterize your things by your experiences. Build your story. Don't go off nobody else's story, nobody else's point of view, or outer doctrines. That means other people's perspectives, other people's beliefs, and what they think you should be doing, right? So moral of the story is stay within so you never go without. That's the quote. Stay within so you never go without, right? Testament. The word testament means tangible, proof, or evidence of something. So that's why in the book it says the Old and the New Testament, right? So it says that's what testament means. Tangible proof or evidence of something. Okay. Bible references, the Old and New Testament. Old Testament, Psalms. This is where the Bible gonna come in here, y'all. Get your notebooks because it's gonna get deep. All right. I'm gonna try to run through it as quick as I can because whoo child. All right, so boom. The Old Testament, it says, Psalms 78, 2, chapter 2. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter hidden things. Things from the old. Hashtag dark sayings of the old. Okay? So I'm going to break that down. Moral of the story is parables, right? Meaning examples. The Bible uses examples, references, like I just did with the Barbie and Ken and in other movies that I'm going to reference, right? Moral of the story is the Bible uses examples to make a point, okay? So it says the sayings that should not have been, basically the dark sayings. So in other words, basically parables are hidden things. It's like occult knowledge. It's kind of like slang. I'm going to say one thing, but I mean another. So it's like code. It's like a decode. You got to decode it. You feel what I'm saying? So they had said a lot of things back in the day. They was mysticals. They was mysticisms. I'm sorry. The book was, you was dealing with mystics. So mystics were crucified back then for being mystics. They were crucified for being healers and living off the land and doing organic stuff. So they had to find ways to speak, kind of like the Underground Railroad. When slaves ran away, they used certain things to send messages. They sung certain songs. They wore certain hairstyles. They wore certain clothes to send certain signals, certain messages, but you knew what it meant. It might look good on the outside, but you know what it means. It means something else. So that's really what a parable means. It means I'm saying something, I'm using it in the form of people, the story in the form of people, but I really mean something else. And I need you to use your spirit to see that. Okay? So, boom. It says, sayings that should not have been taken literal, sadly, taken literal by the church till this day. Okay? So, more of the story is the church takes the Bible literal all the time. And I'm going to keep going as to why you don't need to take it so literal. And you'll get what I mean. And because they take it so literal, it makes people afraid to read it or open it up because you're like, bro, that's dark. That's scary, right? So boom, it says Proverbs 1:6, right? Chapter 1, verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the word of the wise and their dark sayings. Okay? To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. And that goes back to needing a messenger, a disciple, a medium, a shaman, whatever, a healer, whatever they did not identify as. That's where they come in at, to help translate what you can't translate for yourself at the time until you get yourself in a space where you can translate it on your own. It's basically helping you walk on your own. Okay? All right, so then you got the New Testament. Oh, so you got the New Testament, Mark chapter 4, verse 34. But without a parable spoke he not to them. He said, basically, this is Jesus saying, but without a parable spoke he not to them. And when they were alone, he expounded all things to his disciples. So it means you got to be aligned. Okay? Discipline, disciple. You got to discipline yourself, right? Because God is speaking, Jesus is speaking through parables. He said, I don't speak without them. So that means I don't speak without code. Okay? I'm speaking through code. And when you're alone, I will expound all the things that I was trying to tell you in code. So when you're in private by yourself, that little voice that you're afraid of listening to, which is why a lot of y'all are trying to drown it out. You're scared of being by yourself. You're keeping so many people around you to the point you're blocking out that voice. You're like, who is that talking to me? You're scared. You're running from your gift, right? That's God talking to you. That's Jesus saying, hey, let me talk to you. Let me tell you what's going on. Let me tell you what I was trying to tell you earlier today. But I was talking in codes. I knew you really didn't understand. But I'm going to break it down to you right now while you washing your dishes, while you cleaning up, while you vacuuming, while you in the shower, while you taking a spiritual bath, while you at the park, while you quiet, while there's no noise, while there's no people around. That's when I'm able to get to you. Because you can hear me. But a lot of y'all are blocking out that voice. Okay. New Testament, Galatians 4, talks about things which are in allegory. Reference the Inside Out movie. When we say allegory is saying how, look at the movie Inside Out, how they use characters, anxiety, joy, stress, whatever. They had different characters, right? Playing different emotions inside of oneself. So just imagine, what if your anxiety had a little character, your stress had a little character, your worry had a little character, your love had a little character, and all of these little characters are on the inside of you, controlling you, trying to make your day go smoothly, right? So that's basically what it's saying, allegory. So moral of the story is that's why the book uses parables, examples, allegory to make a point, not meant to take literal. Allegory is a poem, picture, characters, scenes, or events. To represent hidden, complex ideas beneath the surface, decode, born in spirit or after the flesh. Woo. All right. New Testament. The New Testament was something symbolic that was meant to be symbolic, that was taken literal. Okay? And if literal meaning y'all actually doing, like you're actually doing some of the horrid things that was said in this story, in this letter, in this Bible. Y'all are literally trying to do this stuff in real life, which is why the church is so corrupted now, which is why nobody wants to deal with y'all, which is why nobody wants to hear you, which is why people think the Bible is fake and phony now, because a lot of y'all frauds have did just that, been frauds. And now you're trying to fraud the world, and we don't want it no more. You're mad because we don't want to be frauded any longer, right? You taking something literal, making it literal when it was a parable. It was an example. Didn't mean you had to do it for real. Okay? New Testament. 2 Corinthians 3, chapter 3, verse 14. But their minds were blinded. For until this day remaineth the same veil, untaken away, in the reading of the Old Testament, which the veil is done away in Christ. So moral of the story is your mind has been blinded. You still blinded. You choosing to be blinded, right? Until this day. Till this day. The church is helping you be blinded. The TV helping you be blinded. The socials are helping you be blinded. The government helping you. Everybody just keeping the veil over your eyes. Especially the United States. And you feel me? The veil's going to remain there until you tap into. It says the veil, what it says, for until this day, the veil, the same veil, For until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away. That means it's still there. It means you still got that veil. In the reading of the Old Testament, okay, which veil is done away in Christ. So that means you have to accept Christ. You do? Oh, 7, I don't want to talk about Jesus. Stay with me. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Damn it. It's going to save your life, I promise. Turn to the Lord. The veil shall be taken away, it says. Now the Lord is that Spirit. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. The Lord is that spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. So we will not be liberated until we tap back into true Christ consciousness. That means common sense, waking up from your slumber, rising up from the ashes, the dead. Jesus. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6. Who also hath made us able ministers. That means able. You need to be able to be a minister. Don't be out here just ministering and you ain't able. Okay? Who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the spirit. For the letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. So moral of the story is they considered in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6, it says the Bible, basically talking about the Bible, is a letter. And that the letter will kill it, but the spirit will give it life. So don't put all of your eggs into the book, the letter. Put them eggs into your spirit, and it will give you life. Golden Eve. That's what Jesus rises. Okay? Instructions to God are written in our hearts. The instructions to God are written in our hearts. The instructions to God are written in our hearts. Not in ink, but with the spirit of the living God. Y'all heard that? Living God, the spirit of the living God. Not in the tablets of the stones. That means some 10 Commandment tablets that they had ruled your life with. It says, but not in the tablets of the stones, but in the fleshly tables of the heart. So everything you need is in your heart. It's not in a 10 Commandment on a stone. It's not in that letter. Everything you need is in you. That's why everything they're trying to take out of it doesn't matter, because it's already embedded in your DNA. It's already within you. So they can't rob you of something that you were born with, as much as they want to try, which is why they're throwing in so many distractions and so much putting all these celebrities and all this fake wealth and fake fame and fake get rich quick scheme and all this crap up in your face and have you lost in the sauce so you won't tap into your Christ consciousness. Stay focused. So it says, everything you need, it says, I'm going to read that again. The instructions of God are written in our hearts, not in the ink, but in the spirit of the living God, not in the tables of the stones, but in the fleshly tables of the heart. Go Godward. Instead of saying go inward, it says go Godward. I love that. Trust plus Christ plus the heart equals God. That's where you listen. Trust Christ, the heart equals God. I.e., the letter, reading the letter literally. You're reading the veil. You're reading the letter literally. You're reading with a veil over your eyes. You don't understand spiritual numerology, astrology, and mysticism. That's why when we go to talk about 222 and 444 and 333 and 1111, y'all think that it's some weird dark witchcraft shit and just don't know that numerology is in the Bible. Stop trying to judge us for something that we didn't make up. This was something that was already here before we got here. So at the end of the day, numerology, astrology, all of that, mysticism, all of that is in the Bible. The same Bible that y'all try to beat us with. You're reading the letter through others' wordplay, their slang, their lingo, their point of view, their experiences. Nothing about the letter is evil. And see, a lot of us think that the letter is evil because we're reading these books and these chapters through other people's experiences. People are telling what they went through in their life. That didn't mean you had to go. That's just like when, who was that, Moses or Abraham? One of them was finna stone their son, right? Because they used to love to stone people in the Bible. That's what they talked about. So one of them was feeling like, okay, well, God, I want to prove to you how loyal and committed I am to you. I would give you my only begotten son. I will stone my son for you, right? God, you got a choice between an animal and your only son, and you choose to offer up your son to God. You think God wants to take your only son from you? No. But right when he get ready to raise this stone and kill his son, basically he had to manipulate his son to the top of the hill. Like, hey, come with me. And the son thinking they finna go sacrifice this dang on animal, not knowing that the son is the sacrifice. So a lot of times your family, your mothers, your fathers will sacrifice you because they think that's what God wants. Their God. Because many of them don't even know a real God. So they actually listening to a lower entity that's telling them, oh yeah, go sacrifice go rob yourself, go clean out your bank account, go divorce your husband that you've been with for 20 years, to go and steal money. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, a lot of y'all have taken these people's words and their lingo and experiences literal, right? And then now because you've taken it literal, now you like, well, the Bible, a lot of us talking about, well, the Bible is fake. A lot of us say the Bible got lies in it. A lot of us say the Bible ain't real. A lot of us say a lot of stuff been stolen out of the Bible. Everybody got a lot of stipulations about the Bible, right? But more of the story is we're looking at it wrong. The Bible is a letter. Different letters from different people talking about their different life experiences. And they put them in this book as an instructional guide. It was like we had to walk this race so that you can run it. And that's basically what the Bible was meant for. It wasn't meant for you to take it and go and stone your kids, literally, with a real stone. And back in the day, people actually stoned their kids. They stoned the women. They stoned them physically because they read it in the book and they made it literal. And that's not what the translation meant. It was a parable. It was an example. And you took it and you killed innocent people for no fucking reason. All because you mistranslated the letter. Woo! I told y'all weren't finna get ready for me. 666. Y'all hear the number 666. And it's so many Christians that literally will lose their mind when they see 666. They will crumble and run and cut you off. I can remember being at a restaurant when I was working, and the lady total came up to 666, y'all. And if you look up the number, the angelic number of 666, you will see it's a beautiful meaning. But a lot of y'all have demonized it because of listening to other people's point of view. That you lack the knowledge of these numbers. These numbers are messages. You are a number at the end of the day. So I remember saying something to this woman about 666, and she was like cutting me off. That's the devil. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. And I'm like, but your change is 666. Don't say it to me. I don't. And she literally was so adamant about not receiving the 666, y'all. Her change, she literally grabbed the extra penny because she didn't want to receive the 666. She threw the penny on the counter just so she can get 665. And at the end of the day, I'm looking at her because I realized she lacks the knowledge. She demonized the number. She thinks it's bad because that's how the Christians, the church, the religion, and whatever else have made spirituality in the book look. So now you lack the knowledge of the number 666 because you think it's a devil number. You lack the knowledge when you see people do mudras, celebrities, when y'all see them doing the hand signals and all of that. Oh, that's the Illuminati. Oh, they doing witchcraft. That's a mudra. Those are healing. If you look up mudras, M-U-D-R-A, mudra, look them up. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which means I'm giving praise to the higher power. Did you know that? A lot of y'all made fun of people who wanted to be like Tina Turner when she was practicing Buddhism. Oh, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And you didn't even look up and see what that means. That means I'm paying homage to God. So we judged and made fun of that statement, not knowing the entire time she was paying homage to God in the fucking movie. Listen to me. Baby, y'all need to teach yourselves. Wake up. Okay? The minds were blinded, it says. But the minds were blinded, for until this day it remained the same veil untaken away. Baby, wake up, man. Wake up. Okay? Wake up. All right? The numbers. All right? You're reading the letter through other words. Okay? All right? Mystical meaning. Okay, boom. Here it is. It says the minds have been corrupt through fear, guilt, and money, i.e., the United States, which nothing about it is united. Everything over here is divided. But they call themselves united. So just as well as the church, who no longer worships God, calls themselves a church, it's not a church. Just as well as this place calls itself a country, it is not a fucking country. It is a corporation running your place pretending to be a country. It is. And this is why it's so corrupt, because they've been faking to be a country. They've been faking to be your real leaders. They've been faking to be your gods. And they've been brainwashing. They've been distracting you and manipulating you, and y'all all over the place, and you wondering why most spiritualists don't give a fuck, because we see through it. We see through the matrix. The same way you keep pretending to be asleep, you sending yourself in the whirlwind because you want to keep playing possum. Don't get mad at me because I choose to open my eyes. Stay woke. So it says, minds have been corrupt through fear, guilt, and money, i.e. the United States. The United States is the main line of Christianity. And Christianity is so corrupt over here alone. When you go in other countries, I don't even think you don't hear nobody talking about Christianity for real. Because them folks is free spirits. They living in their higher Christ consciousness as they should. And they are not focused on this petty, dumb, small crap that we over here focused on. Mystical meaning, female. The female is the emotions. We finna get deep, y'all. The female represent the emotions. The male represent action, the mind, consciousness. So the female is meant to be an emotional creature. Men stop making us feel bad for being an emotional creature when we were born to be her. Okay? Male represents mind, the consciousness, action. He represents logic, which is why he operates mostly in his mind. He does not operate mostly in his emotions like a woman, right? Oh, you so emotional. Y'all emotional creatures. Yes, we are. And we should be proud to be emotional creatures because that's what feminine means. Emotions. You are meant to be a soft feminine. Okay? He's meant to be of action and consciousness, meaning he's meant to be the brains, right? Not saying that you don't have brains, because your spirit, your emotions is your brain. You feel a lot. So when you feel, you're able to speak and tell him, hey, something ain't right. I don't feel like something is good over here. Da, 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 da. So you bring enlightenment to him, which in turn help him to tap into his consciousness. You bring him back to the God within himself. And now, you get what I'm saying? We on the road. We can go. I can trust where he taking me because he knows God within himself. But if he don't know God, and then I'm trying to put him above me in my house, talking about something God said, put your husband before every. And then what if he a damn fool and he don't know no better? Now he done led you and your children into damnation. All because he does not know the God within himself. Right? So that's what your women, your job is to be feminine and be okay with being emotional. Right? Men, it is okay to be logical. But the two have to go together. They have to be dual. They have to combine. Right? That's where the yin and yang, masculine and feminine aspects come in there. No one is above the other. The woman is not above the man. The man is not above the woman. We both are equal. We are the same body. Stop trying to separate this shit. Wake your asses up. I ain't gonna keep telling you. Okay? All right. Says Genesis chapter 3, verse 12. And the man said, the woman who thou gavest to be with, wait a minute. And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gaveth me to the tree, and I did eat. This goes back to the Adam and Eve story. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, unto the woman said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay? So basically, it's saying, this is what the Bible said. In Genesis, it was basically saying, because Adam said, the woman you gave me to, gave me to a tree. Tree of life, tree of consciousness. And I ate of that tree. I'm sorry. I followed her. I listened to her. So the Bible said, because he bit of that tree, which was the tree of life, the tree of consciousness, Christ consciousness, it was help you to wake up and realize you was butt ass naked, Eve and Adam. Because who the hell want to still be walking around butt ass naked till this day in 2026? They needed to wake up and put clothes on. You feel what I'm saying? That was the test. Why would God put you in a garden with a whole bunch of trees and say, oh, just don't eat this one over here, but you can eat any other tree over there, just don't eat this one? God would not place you over there and do that. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is where the contradiction come in the Bible. So basically, people, some fools went in the Bible, right, and tweaked some shit and placed the man above the woman. And this is where the degrading of the women in the Bible began. Okay? So basically, it says, and the man said, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow, thy conception. In sorrow shall bring forth children, and thy desire shall be thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So moral of the story is, because she led him to consciousness, that was so-called a punishment. So now the woman has to be punished. So now I will multiply you with sorrow. I will multiply you with pregnancy. And then on top of that, you will be in sorrow while you're pregnant. So moral of the story is, you will be conceiving unhappily. And all of your desires will be of thy husband, and he will rule over thee. So basically, your husband has become your oppressor, your leader, your Lord, your God in the Bible, according to the Bible. I ain't making this up, okay? Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. Let the woman learn in silence all subjection, i.e., means meditation, silent, all while being submissive. Shh, child. And submit to your husband. Husbands come first. So the reason why I put that down is because that all of that didn't say it in the scripture. The scripture only said, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. That's what the scripture says. But I simplified it in my own words, which saying basically, when it says, let the woman learn in silence, that means meditation. No noise, no nothing. Meditation comes in so many different forms, not just one. Okay? You don't have to be a Buddhist to do meditation. Meditation is nothing but breathing and allowing yourself to recharge your nervous system. You feel what I'm saying? Okay? So at the end of the day, meditation comes in cooking. You can cook, and that's a form of meditation. You can pray, that's a form of meditation. You can dance, that's a form of meditation. You can sing, you can swim, you can bike, you can fish, you can make jewelry, whatever you do. All of those outlets, creative outlets, are forms of meditation. Because when you're tapping into your creativity is when you can hear your higher consciousness. Because that's where all your creativity is flowing from. Your higher consciousness. Right? That's what makes a dope artist. So it says, meditate silently, all while being submissive. So basically in the church, back then, woman had to meditate quiet. She had to shut up. Shh. Okay? She had to be seen and not heard. And she had to, her husband came first, even above her children. And see, I was raised like that with my mother. My mother literally placed her husband before all of us. And she made sure we knew every day she could give us that he come before y'all. My husband come first. My husband, my husband, my husband, my husband. Baby, she didn't give a damn. We were walking with shoes, talking on our feet, which we were. But get what? She went and bought him some brand new shoes for $100, $200. She didn't care. You got 4 girls over here literally walking on the ground. And you over here putting some shoes on a man who could go and buy his own. And he's supposed to be helping you put them on these girls. But instead, you over here putting him before you because that's what the Bible said. You took it literal. Okay? So you became shush women. You became hushed. And you put your men before your children and everybody else because that's what the Bible said. Then you got to go to Leviticus. Chapter 12, verse 2. If a woman have conceived seeds and born a man child, then she shall be unclean for 7 days. Chapter 12, verse 5 says, if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean for 2 weeks. And this is where the bullshit comes in. Because you're telling me that if I bear a man, a boy, that I'm only unclean for 7 days. But if I have a girl child, I'm dirty for 2. That's just like when y'all was saying how back in the day with all the prejudice shit with the white folks, how they tried to make black, bad and dirty, and white was always right and everything like that. Same difference. Same difference. It's the same difference. So you're trying to tell me that because I have a boy, I'm cleaner than I would be if I had a girl. So you're telling me having a girl makes me filthy. Okay. This is the Bible though. This y'all Bible. In other words, it's double standards towards women and it's bias. Okay. Punish the women giving birth to a girl. But this is what we call amazing grace. We in church singing, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That means you ain't shit. Yeah. I was lost, now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. What y'all think that mean? You was a wrench. You wasn't nothing. You feel me? But y'all in church singing Amazing Grace, but just don't know that this is degrading to women. And you need women. And I'm gonna keep going and you're gonna figure out why. It ain't about worshiping us. This ain't got nothing, it got something to do with us, but it ain't. Just stay with me. Stay with me, okay? So, Exodus chapter 21, verse 2 through 6 talks about a male servant, okay, serving 6 years, serving 6 years. What it says, raising yourself over the bondage of the 6 chakras. So even though the scripture says, it talks about basically serving 6 years, the servant, which is the male, if he serves 6 years, right? In the 7th, he shall go free. That's what it said. And if he comes by himself, then he shall go free by himself, is what the scripture says. Right? But really what the breakdown is about is the 6 years represent 6 chakras, the energy points in the body. I ain't got time to break that down. If you don't know what the hell the chakras is by now, go look it up and do your own research. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. It says, so basically, it says raising yourself over, it talks about serving 6 years, and in the 7th year, he shall be free. He shall go free. So basically the 7th, which means the 7th chakra, higher consciousness. So you have 7 chakras starting from your pelvic area all the way up to your crown. And the 7th chakra is your crown. So Christ consciousness resides in your crown, in your 7th chakra. But you have to go through the lower chakras. You have to go through those dark sides and parts of yourself, the shadow parts of yourself, do the shadow work and face those demons in yourself to reach Christ consciousness. And when you reach Christ consciousness means waking your damn mind up to higher knowledge, then you will then be able to access the interconnectedness with God. A lot of y'all are not willing to do the chakra work. You're not willing to balance yourself. You're not willing to discipline yourself. You won't even go on a fast. You won't even put down them sodas. You won't put down the sugar. You won't put down that man or that woman that's toxic for you. You won't go without sex for a little minute. You refuse to do the things that's blocking your vessel, blocking your temple from actually tapping in and tapping into that higher consciousness of yourself. A lot of y'all look at me and think because I got on my short shorts. Baby, let me tell you something. Ain't damn man touched this in I don't know how long. And that's by choice. Baby, do you see how beautiful I am? Do y'all see these thighs? Baby, anybody will be willing to come up here and touch these thighs. But because I know that these thighs are sacred. Because I know that my body is sacred. My energy is beautiful. It's precious to me. Everybody's not worth touching me. And not to degrade nobody, but they take away from me if I let every little dusty hand touch on me, that'll be taken away from my love and my light and my grace. So at the end of the day, the same way when you go to these churches and you sit there and you listening to all these fake prophets and fake people, and you hang around these fake friends and you around these fake family members and you doing all this fake, you literally robbing yourself of your light essence, and you will not ever be able to tap into Christ-like consciousness, because it's going to keep you in the lower realms of yourself. Because the more you get hurt, the more you keep getting deceived, the more you keep getting lied to and manipulated, the more you're going to operate in your lower chakras. You will never be able to elevate to your higher Christ consciousness. And that's what the enemy is doing, keeping you distracted and keeping you stuck in the lower 6 chakras so that you cannot make it to the 7th one. So moral of the story is, if a man serves 6 years, which means he serves and cleans up these 6 chakras, then in the 7th chakra, he will be free, and he can go free by himself, because he came by himself. That means you were born by yourself and you will leave here by yourself, not with nobody. That ain't got nothing to do with, oh snap, I'm marking up my boot. That ain't got nothing to do with, you feel what I'm saying? So basically, when you're operating in your lower chakras, you're like in bondage. That's the hell. You know, that's why you're dealing with sicknesses. That's why you're dealing with worry and stress and poverty. That's why you're dealing with sex addictions, drug addictions, alcoholism, food addictions, overthinking, negative things. Just you dealing with so much lower negative energies to the point you can't see the good. You can't see the positive coming your way because you're still stuck in the lower 6 chakras, right? And you're refusing to elevate to the higher one. So that's like going up in an elevator and only stopping at a certain floor when you really need to go higher, but you're choosing to stay stuck at this level. Okay? All right. So it says the female in Exodus 21, verse 7. And if a man sells his daughter to be a maid servant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. So basically in the Bible, they were saying that a man could go free, but a woman can't. She can't go like a man. And literally in the South, I grew up with families that would let the boys go outside. Any time of the day they wanted to go out. Do whatever they wanted to do, go wherever they wanted to go do. They could be in the sewer. And mama said he can do it. But a girl, you ain't going out that door too early, and you ain't staying out there too late, and you can't do what the boys do. You got to stay your butt in this house because you a girl. That was the only explanation. They didn't tell you why. They just said you was a girl. And this is why the Bible is telling you, you shouldn't have took it literal. It didn't mean keep the girls bound in the house and let the boys go free. You took it literal. So now a lot of the women scared to leave the house because they think the women can't go outside because that's how tradition was. So that's what the Bible says. So it says male slaves were freed after 6 years, but not the women. So basically the woman could do the spiritual work. The woman could tap into her higher self and she still wouldn't be free, according to the Bible. God's chosen people, huh? Are they still chosen to y'all? Okay. These are the people who y'all putting on the pedestal now. Genesis 24 talks about selling daughters as brides. Arranged marriages, basically. And let's be real, most of the church have arranged marriages. Oh, well, God told you need to be with the saltine cracker over there because he got money at the construction site. He work over there, he a manager over there, so yeah, we need you to. Basically, they was arranging marriages back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally forcing you to be with people all because it looked good. Or when they look like they got good genes. They look like they got good money. They got good, stamina, whatever. So we want you to marry them instead. So people marry people off of aesthetics back in the day, not because of love. You get what I'm saying? And this is what we done went wrong in. We lacking love, right? So it talks about them selling daughters as brides, arranging them as in marriages. Like, basically, you can go in there and pick any one of my daughters you want, man. Yeah, my nigga, go in there and get any one of them you want. And you can marry her. Yeah. You feel me? And then Exodus 21 talks about selling women as slaves. Yeah, you pick whichever one you want to be your slave. She gonna worship you. Yeah, go ahead. Numbers 31, chapter 31, 9 through 18 talks about taking cattle, flocks, and goods from women, even taking the kids and unaliving the women and the children. This is the Bible. The Bible talks about this. Numbers 31, chapter 31, verse 15. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? Chapter 31, verse 17 says, I'm sorry, the first verse was chapter 31, verse 15. The second one is chapter 31, verse 17. Now therefore kill every male. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. Non-virgin, sexually active. Chapter 31, verse 18. But all women, children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. Virgin. So, basically, if she is sexually active, kill her and her children. And if she's a virgin, then you can keep her for yourself. So the Bible, you feel me, exploits women in a lot of ways. A lot of ways. And this is why us women now are rebelling against it, because now we're realizing, like, it ain't never been about sinners and saints. It ain't never been about whites and blacks. It's been about male and female. Yep. That's what true war been at. So it says Deuteronomy 22, chapter 22, verse 20. But if this thing is to be true, and the token of virginity be not found for the damsel, okay, let me slow down. But if this thing is to be true, and the tokens of the virginity be not found for the damsel, i.e., example, back in the day, how they found out if you weren't a virgin, pap smears, pelvic exams, all of those. Because I can remember when I was a teenager, when my mom wanted to find out if we was having sex or not, I remember her saying, well, I can find out if you're having sex or not. All I gotta do is take you to the doctor and get you a pap smear. And I didn't know what a pap smear was. So now, mind y'all, I was actually sexually active at the time. And so I was afraid because she had scared the mess out of me. So I'm like, damn, she could really find out. So I'm like, how they gonna be able to find out in my vagina if I had sex or not? So, basically we get there and I get in the room and the doctor's asking me what's going on. And I was telling the doctor, well, my mom was trying to find out if I'm having sex or not. And the doctor was just like, okay, well, you cannot. The doctor sat in the room and told me as a teenager, you cannot measure if a child is having sex or not through a pap smear. But that was a scare tactic my mother had used to scare me, to keep me from having sex, which I understood that was her way of trying to protect me, I guess. But it was a fucked up way. And so at the end of the day, that right there had me scared to get a pap smear, because I'm thinking they can measure if I had sex or not, which I did have sex. But then we left the doctor and she still didn't know. And that's when I learned then that a lot of them tactics were just bluff. I had to call them on their bluff. So I eventually ended up having to tell her myself directly, like, yeah, I done had sex, because she still didn't know. She had took me to the doctor at like 13, 14. She didn't find out until I turned like 17 that I was having sex. And so at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying is, back in the day, they used stuff like that to check a woman and make her feel like, hey, if I check your vagina and I find out you ain't no virgin, then it's over with for you. You feel me? So, that's where all those checkups came in at. Chapter 22 in Deuteronomy, verse 21. Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with the stones, that she die, and that she may die. So, if you were identified as sexually active, you'd be stoned to death by men. Until this day, men have been throwing stones at the female ever since. And that is the truth. Degrading women, i.e., my movie reference for this is The Little Rascals. And I know y'all probably like, Seven, how is The Little Rascals a reference for this? I love The Little Rascals. Don't get me wrong. I grew up watching that thing. But no girls were allowed in their club. No girls. Girls were just icky and disgusting and The boys just couldn't stand the girls. And when Alfalfa messed around and found Darla and him and her got in a relationship, baby, the boys hated it. They went out of their way to destroy him, trying their best to destroy him and Darla relationship. All because they had made a pact. We would never accept the girls into this club. And that's really what the Bible is. It's like Little Rascals. A whole bunch of little rascals that X'd out the women and crucified us and made us whores, told us that we had boys, children, and if we wasn't a virgin, then to stone us. And some of y'all Christians back in the day actually stoned people physically. You killed innocent people over something, a letter you took literal, which was meant to be an example. Don't stone them. And so women are still being crucified till this day. A woman can't have sex with two different men without being called a whore. A woman can't move out of a different relationship without being crucified as a Jezebel or a damsel in distress. Or a woman can't ask for $1 without a man thinking she a gold digger. We are literally being stoned each and every day by our men, our sons, who are so-called supposed to be men of God, men of Christ. They're supposed to be patterning themselves after Jesus Christ. And they out here doing some old shit. And then they done tweaked it in the Bible and said, hey, go follow these niggas. Make them your Lord. Make them your ruler. And you do everything they say and put them above everything, including yourself. That was not God. That was somebody's story. Okay? All right, so boom. You got, all right, boom. Corinthians. We're getting out of here, y'all. 1 Corinthians 11, chapter 11, verse 3. The head of the man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. This is what y'all Bible say. But then they also go in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. You see how they keep trying to make it like the woman ain't, you feel me? The man don't belong to the woman, but the woman belongs to the man. Basically, it's male chauvinistic ego bullshit, manipulation, control, just like Ken did in the movie Barbie when he manipulated and they put them girls, them Barbies under spells and made them worship them, all because of their macho, ego chauvinistic bullshit. Sorry that I got to bust the face up, but I got to. Because I'm sick of this sexist battle. Okay? I'm sick of it. All right, boom. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman was for the man. All right, boom. Spiritual meaning. When you kill the woman, this is the spiritual meaning, what it really means. When you kill the woman and her children, you are killing the emotional nature, ego, and desires that stem from the emotional nature. Does that mean literal? Look at it mystically. Death and rebirth. So instead of y'all stoning women back in the day and still trying to stone us to this day and make us belittle us and make us less than y'all in the church and less than y'all when it comes to spirituality and religion and all this whatever, basically trying to take us down a couple of sizes. More of the story is you are robbing the planet of its feminine nature, the emotional aspect. We need the feminine part. It's just like robbing the planet of Mother Earth. Where the hell would we go if we didn't have Mother Earth? So at the end of the day, when you are when y'all want to go and have sex with women and you don't want her to have no feelings, her vagina comes with feelings. Her heart comes with feelings. Her spirit comes with feelings. She comes with feelings. She was born to feel. So when you are telling her, hey, let's just do this and have a situationship without feelings, without connection, without attachment, you are asking her to rob herself of her essence. And so we have done that, settling for less than we deserve just to be accepted by you crummy ass energies. So moral of the story is real men would not try to shrink a woman down to size because he knows the value of her feminine nature. He would never devalue her. And the same goes for a feminine. She will never devalue the masculinity of a man because she knows the strength of it. She knows the power of it. She knows the value of it. So she would never demoralize the masculine because she knows how valuable he is. This is why we need to stop this stupid shit on the woman is more powerful, the man is more powerful, and all that bull crap. We're both powerful. Okay? All right. So stop asking women to sleep with you and not have feelings. Don't sleep with her if you don't want her to have feelings. Keep your ding ding to yourself. Sis, keep your snatch to yourself if you know you cannot sleep with that person without feelings because it comes with it. So this is why we got a world full of soulless, promiscuous women, because you have shut off your heart and your natural feminine essence, which is why, sorry, most of y'all are bull daggers, lesbians. You more masculine than the men because you have shut off your feminine waters. Yes. And I can't blame you because of all the male chauvinistic energies. Some of y'all made this choice because of the egos. And I understand. I get it. You chose your peace. And you happen to find peace in the same sex. That's why I'm not judging. But you're masculine because you shut off your feminine nature. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches. A lot of preachers literally took this literal. They don't trust women preachers. I can remember one of my uncles, I don't trust women preachers. The Bible said no women should be in a pulpit. Blah, 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 blah. Why? They never had a valid reason why a woman should not be in the pulpit. They try to demonize it. So it says, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also say the law. So my question is, just reading it before I even finish, was the real slavery really between the blacks and the whites, or was it really between the men and the women? Because it says, yeah, I know we had slavery. I'm not trying to discredit that. But what I'm simply saying is this is where the real shit come from. Because basically obedience, this sounds like you my slave master. You feel what I'm saying? So as also say the law. Okay? So there it says, this text was later added, by the way, because there were no churches at the time this shit was written. So this is where the contradictions come in the church. So this is how you know some certain text was added later, because there were no churches at the time the entire Bible was written. So who would say that? There was no, it says, let your women keep silent in the churches. That was a fool that said that. That was none but a pure clown that said that. Because guess what? The woman, you come from her. Her emotions, her intuition. You got intuition too, but her intuition is what helps you tap into your shit. So if you telling people that she a demon and she don't need to speak in the church, then a whole bunch of dummies is standing in the pulpit pretending to know God, and they misleading the sheep. And that's exactly why it became a man's world, like James Brown said, and we all in a world full of, we don't know what it is right now. Because it's so masculine that the feminine, you can't even find her. And she's basically extinct. She's fighting to stay alive right now. So it says, spiritual meaning, a woman being silent in church is to bring your emotions under control through meditation. That means you don't need to be up in no church doing all that hooping and hollering and spitting and snotting and all that crap all over the place like them holding these churches do. Oh God, man, I need you to pray for my kids. I need you to all that. God don't need you to do none of that. All he wants you to do is sit still and breathe. Center yourself. And when you do so, you'll be tapping into your Christ consciousness. You'll be sorting out your thought process. It says, bring your emotions under control through meditation. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, 35. And if they learn anything, let them ask their husbands, quote unquote. The spiritual meaning of that says, let the emotions seek from that of a renewed mind. Your renewed mind, which being your husband. Because remember, masculine male represents action. He represents logic. He represents Christ consciousness. Okay? So it says, let your emotions seek from that of a renewed mind. Not an old mind, not an outdated mind, but a renewed mind. So that means when you break through that bondage of those 6 chakras, you tap into that renewed mindset. When you wake up every day and you meditate and you pray, you're resetting your nervous system. You're renewing your mind from the day before. So you will be coming from Christ consciousness because you're coming from a newer space, a cleaner space every day, right? Jesus. That's how you tap into Jesus. You can't figure out if Jesus is black or white. Jesus is all those colors because he's inside of you. Stop trying to make Jesus an actual human. That's why everybody confused. Well, the real Jesus was black, and his dad, he had, and I used to say it too. I was so Black Power. They were talking about it was hair, wool, and skin of whatever the Bible said, right? Skin of bronze and hair of wool. But every Jesus we look up, he ain't got no hair of wool, and he ain't got no skin of bronze. Everybody's Jesus look like them inside of you. That's why it's no sex, it's no color, it's no race, it's no nothing. It's inside of you. Christ consciousness. Okay? Stay focused. You welcome. All right, so boom. It says, coming from a renewed mind, all right? Mystically, we are all women. There is no men or women. Male and female are the brides. This is in the Bible now. Male and female are considered the brides. Not just the female, the male too. It says the male and the female are the brides, and Jesus is the bridegroom. Okay? Coming to claim the female and the male, his bride, to take up to the upper room. Upper room. Okay? To consummate the marriage of the Lamb. Okay? Exposing me to my higher self in the realms of meditation. He will penetrate you. He will deposit within you an incorruptible seed. That means he'll get you pregnant. You will then become pregnant mystically and give birth to the Christ child in virgin consciousness. That means unpolluted, unveiled, unbullshitted, unfaked. We are of Mother Earth, and Jesus is of God, the supreme being. So, moral of the story is Jesus being Christ consciousness, who is coming to wake up his children, wake up his bride, male and female, right? To come and take us to the upper room, which is in our higher self, right? We think the upper room means somebody finna die. That means you do gotta die. The old way gotta die. The old you, the old mindset, the old religions, the old traditions have to die. Clear that bull crap, that trash out, so that we can fill it with something real. That's what Spirit is trying to get you to do. So that basically, he takes you to the upper room to consummate. Y'all know consummate. What that mean? A lot of y'all be like, consummate, sex, right? Automatic. When you hear consummate, you think sex. But that means become intimate. He takes you to the upper room in an intimate, sacred space where y'all become intimate and connected in one together, right? You become married to your Christ consciousness, exposing yourself to all parts of you, whether good or bad, light or dark. When you're meditating, you're seeing parts of yourself. That's why God said, don't judge it. Don't judge it. Just let it flow, right? Because it all what makes you you. But you're doing all of that through the veil in the realm of meditation. That means you got to shut the fuck up. Sit down. Still yourself. Center yourself in order to tap in. Okay? so that Jesus will penetrate you and then will deposit what it said, an incorruptible seed. That means I will plant something inside of you that cannot be corrupted by anybody or anything but you. Because you are your worst enemy. If you will be careful, you can be your best friend too. So moral of the story is Jesus will plant an incorruptible seed inside of you. And then you will become pregnant spiritually, mystically. That means I'm full, God. I got to birth some stuff. That means new life, new beginnings, new happiness, new love, new friends, new family. Just new. Right? That's birth. That's birth. Birth doesn't always mean having a physical baby. Birth means new beginnings, new job, new love, new happiness, just new you, right? And not a fake new you. Stop that faking it till you make it that new fake New Year's resolution shit. No, get into some real shit and actually see it through. And if you're not going to see it through, don't set the goal until you actually going to see it through. So you don't end up feeling less about yourself. But moral of the story is, let's stop the fake New Year's resolution and get in the real resolution. Let's resolute for real. Okay? So boom, it says give birth to the Christ child in virgin consciousness, meaning you happen to be as innocent and untouched as a child. Yes, you can become a virgin in your mind. That means I'm taking out all the flunkery, all the mind fuck that people been giving me. The churches, the people, the government, all these folk. Let me remove all of that. Go abstinent from all of that bull crap. That means I'm going on a fast from all the lies and I ain't watching the socials. I'm not watching the TV. I'm not listening to all these people. I'm not doing none of that. So I'm purifying myself at this point. I'm resetting myself. And now I'm becoming a virgin. I'm cleansing my mind. That makes me a virgin. Because I'm not full of bullshit. I ain't full of bullshit. That means your food, the food you're eating, the drinks you're consuming, the music you listen to, the people you hang around. All of those are parts of consumption. So are you consuming what's good for you? Or are you consuming what's bad for you? So God wants to reside. Jesus said, I need you to clean that thing up. I need you to make that thing a virgin so I can come off up in there. Feel me? Let me bust that chair. Let me break that virginity. Marry me. Commit to me. Right? So, get to the end, y'all. We at the end. We're going to break down the word Israel. Okay? Israel. All right? Is breaks down. Basically is the feminine principle. Right? Ra is the masculine principle. So you got is, which is the feminine principle of God, and you got Ra, which is the masculine principle of God. And then those together with El is you. The word El translates from a whole nother language to you. So you got is, Ra, Yel. So you got feminine, masculine equals you. The God in you. What Mary said, it's the God in me. It's the God in me. It's the God in me. Yes, God is in you. And if anybody tell you anything different, get away from that demon. I'm going to say it again. God is in you, not outside of you. So anybody telling you anything different, get away from that demonic energy. Boom. Is represents the goddess Isis. Spirit. That's what is means. It stems from the goddess Isis, which is an Egyptian goddess. Because yes, the book talks about Egyptian things in the Bible. In this letter, Egypt was talked about. So the book says the goddess Isis, not the book, but is the goddess Isis, and she represents the spirit. Ra represents the God, the mind, right? So is feminine, Ra is masculine. So that means you got the spirit and you got the mind. Then you go to the El. El represents the impulse in you, the body. the body. So you got Israel, spirit, mind, and body. Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity. You get your body, mind, and your spirit in alignment, and baby, you unstoppable. You're operating in your Jesus Christ-like consciousness when you got your body, mind, and spirit all in alignment together. That's how you embody the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity does not mean just somebody who Catholic or somebody who a holiness person or somebody who a religion. No. I am the Holy Trinity. You are the Holy Trinity. Okay? You just got to align the three. See, your body can say one thing, your mind can say another. And then your spirit can say another too. But if you get them all on the same board, same thing, same boat, then when you get a nudge, you get a feeling, you get something, an inkling, your spirit saying one thing, your body saying the same thing, your mind saying the same thing, you know it to be true and you cannot be deceived. But see, you are easily deceivable because you are not in alignment. You choose to eat filthy. You choose to be, like I said, a lot of y'all are tainted by too many sexual partners. A lot of y'all are drugged out. A lot of y'all alcoholic out. A lot of y'all just mentally screwed up. Whatever. At the end of the day, you're not in alignment. You're not in alignment for your assignment. And that's why you can't hear the voice of God. And that's why you're being deceived and manipulated by higher ups. It's called jugging. I'm a jug ass. She don't know no better. I'm going to tell her anything. She'll believe it. These people are not beneath that. The Bible is degrading to women when taken literally. So moral of the story is the Bible isn't really degrading to women. It's the way that we've taken it and made it literal, which in turn made us feel like the book is wicked and it's contradictory, it's full of lies, it's not real. Because let's be real, the book was written by a gay man. And then other men and other people added their stories in it. So that's why the book is so, it seems so, like we hate women. Because it's literally nothing but men. Because it says, but when taken mystically, because hold on, it says the Bible is degrading to women when taken literally. It looks flawed as fuck, right? But when it's taken mystically, spiritually, the veil is then removed. So that means you can see it for what it is, right? So then you will see the book as flawless. Women are almost free. A quote by George Foote says, "It will yet be a proud boast of the women that she never contributed a line to the Bible." So moral of the story is the women will always be able to brag and boast on the fact that we did not have a part in this destructive letter, right? No woman can say, hey, I wrote a story, a chapter in this book. Because the little rascals in the book made sure that no woman did. And so now, because the truth is being exposed and everything is coming out, now the men got to deal with what come with it. They got to deal with the consequences. And the women, you can't use the women. You can't use us as a punching bag. You can't use us as a scapegoat. You can't target us. You can't say it's our fault because we had no parts in none of this. So at the end of the day, we will always be able to brag and say, you know what? I ain't had nothing to do with this. That's all y'all, boo. That's all you. You wrote that. I ain't write that. So basically whatever lies and destruction and stuff that's being contradicted and exposed in it, that's on the men. That ain't got nothing to do with us. They made sure we ain't have no parts in it. So get what? Embrace that. Because now that the shit is coming up and coming out, they can't blame nobody but themselves. Take accountability. And see, that's what it's about. Men, it's time to take accountability. You are in your ego. You are still in your ego. You have taken the Bible literally because you think you are less than. You feel like you weren't important to God. So you felt the need to go out of your way even years and centuries ago in that book and manipulated the women just to gain control. You were the reason why we were put under hypnosis. You were the reason why we had the veil. You were the reason why we were asleep. And you are the reason why the world is the way it is right now. So now the woman got to come along, Eve, help your ass bite that poisonous, conscious apple up and wake your dumb ass up. Because the apple really wasn't poisonous. Nothing was bad about the tree of life. More of the story is, if she'd have never convinced you to wake up and get something about yourself, you'd still be a dumb caveman somewhere naked. So she had to convince you to bite that apple, but the enemy told you it was evil, that she brings light to you. You men, till this day, are still afraid to fall in love because your friends are going to judge you. A lot of y'all made a pact to your homeboys that you will never get in a relationship. You will never get married. You will remain a player the rest of your life. And a lot of y'all is old ass players still out here dusty as hell doing the same dumb shit. And your friends don't when they got married, you mad at them because you over here, the only one holding up to that stupid ass pact, little rascal. Because guess what? Alfalfa when he got his girl, and when Alfalfa when he got his girl, Alfalfa wasn't ashamed of his girl. Alfalfa didn't care. He put his girl in front of there. Hey, she mine. I like her. He tried to hide her a little bit, but Darla wasn't having that shit. Darla would let him know either you gonna get with it or you gonna get left, because baby, we got competition over here. And I don't know if y'all remember Little Rascals, baby. Alfalfa had comp, major comp, strong comp. And so he saw that Darla was like shit. Darla was like she was filling out her options. Darla wasn't settling. She saw that Alfalfa was scared to love. She saw that Alfalfa was ashamed of women. He didn't want no girl around. So she was like, fuck you then. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go be with this other dude. And he was an arrogant asshole. But at the end of the day, it made Alfalfa come on with it. It made Alfalfa wake up and realize, damn it, I'm about to lose what God gave to me. She precious. We had fun. We floated on the boat with an umbrella. He was going out of his way to, it went from no girls allowed to all of his friends helping him and Darla stay together. And then it went from there to the girls weren't allowed into the boy club, to now the end, the girls and the boys in the club. So somebody might need to go watch that movie. I got chills all over me. But the more bizarre the story, the more bizarre the letter, the deeper the truth. That's a quote I'm going to leave y'all with. The more bizarre the letter, the deeper the truth. And this is Mr. Donahue's words. So he says, stay there. God is trying to tell you something. Keep it. So moral of the story is, a lot of y'all was wondering if you should throw your Bibles out, if you should get rid of them, if you should keep them up, yes, keep your Bible. And I'm a living witness because I can remember buying a Bible for my daughter years ago. And this was when I first tapped into my spirituality. And so because I had already, I felt like I knew everything I needed to know in the Bible. I didn't feel like I needed to go back and read it. And then on top of it, I was going through my Black Power stage, and, I was questioning Jesus and didn't know if I wanted to accept him back in my life and all that type of stuff. So I was removing myself from the biblical aspect of the doctrine. But my daughter was still in that area. So I didn't want to force her into spirituality. So I got her, because she was still going to church and all that stuff. So I ended up purchasing her a Bible just so she would know that she could still do what she wanted to do, But she ended up moving out. And when she moved out, I was cleaning the closet out, y'all. And I almost got rid of the Bible. But that was because I was still lacking knowledge of it. And I became prejudiced of it. I had began to hate it because nothing about it in the Bible was good for me. At least so I thought. So I was ready to get rid of the Bible. And I'm glad that I didn't, because when this message came up, I had to go and refer back to the Bible. So that's just like encyclopedias and stuff back in the day we had in the libraries. Back in the day, we couldn't stand to open them big ass encyclopedias. But guess what? Now, to this day, what's going on? We could use a good encyclopedia. You feel what I'm saying? But now we using Wikipedia. What the hell is that? At this point, we don't even know if it's real or not. So, don't throw it out. Don't cast it away. Just ask God to help you see it from a better eye and a better perspective, and tap into your masculine and feminine principles of God, because we all have it. Nobody has more of the others. We can operate in more than other if we like. I can operate more in my masculinity if I want, and I can operate more in my femininity. But I choose to balance them both and operate in them both at the same time. I operate in my light and my dark. So I'm sweet, but I can be a bitch too. Don't get it twisted. I'm a lover, but I will fight your ass if you put your hands on. Okay? I'm soft, but I'm strong too. So moral of the story is tap in, get in line, balance yourself. Let's grow, let's learn, and let's evolve, y'all. And let's lift the veil once and for all. I'm done. I love y'all. Woo. Mini jerk. Thank y'all for who stuck it out and watched me. But God is trying to tell y'all something, baby. So if the story sound crazy, see it through. Read it. Figure it out. Because it's probably a method to the madness. Let me see who all commented, y'all. All right. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Hey, y'all. He says the basic instructions before leaving earth. Right. That's exactly what Bible means. Bible, if you break down the word Bible, basic instructions before leaving the earth. That's literally what it means. Thank you for that, John. 666 is carbon, literally the life force of all things. I ain't lying. Say it again. Carbon, what we call melanin, it's the life force in all things. Anything, everything. The plants, the birds, the bees, the trees, all has carbon, and we need it. Okay? All right, so boom. He says, they took all the knowledge we gained and erased it so that we have to depend on them fully. Exactly what you said. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. He says, they want to be the shepherd and turn us to the sheep. They already say that we are 3/5 of a person, and you are absolutely correct. They really do. They don't even consider us to be fully blown human beings. Just mind, body, and soul, the three. Yes. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate you for this. But 4 and 5 is religion and nationality. Thank you, Lord. Confirmation. All right. So without carbon, there is no life in it, Dr. Sabi. On my soul. On my soul. Boy, you just went in. See, that's why I love you. That's why I love you. That's why I love you. Thank you for having my back. You feel me? So yeah. Sorry I held y'all for so long. But yeah, y'all take y'all notes and y'all get y'all notebooks and go back and do your own research and look into those Bibles. If you got any old Bibles, dust them things off and go and read those scriptures that I read to you. And you'll see that I'm not lying and I'm not making this stuff up. But, we got to cut through the fluff. Moral of the story is Ken had went back and he had took over Barbie Land. And he was in his feelings because everybody loved Barbie. And Barbie was Barbie. She was Barbieing too much to the point that he wanted to be Barbie. And he was like, fuck that. Mind you, he was already a Barbie. That's the crazy part. He was his own Barbie. But he was just mad at her for some apparent reason. And so at the end of the day, this is why we have to be careful. When I had made a statement the other day, I'm going to say this and get off. The other day, when I had made a statement when I went live about the restaurant that I had went to the other day, Zaxby's. And this gay man was talking about how he'll come around the counter and slap me. And so that was a prime example of what we're dealing with in the Bible. When you're dealing with men who are, for one, gay, they're attracted to the same sex. Most, not all, there are some that are comfortable with being just gay men. But you have some who literally hate women. And I'm talking about real women haters. And they will go out of their way to destroy you because they really wish to be you. You are everything he wishes to be. But then you have other gay men who just like being with another man and they're not trying to be a woman. And they respect a queen as a queen. They're not trying to degrade a woman and they're not trying to hit no woman. So that's kind of what I get when I read a lot of those scriptures in that book, was that some of those men just may have been women haters. And they degraded the women in certain scriptures just to make you think that the woman was less than. And because y'all fell for it and you still living by it to this day, you have broke your feminine aspect, principles of God down. Not just actual feminine, but the feminine within you, which is why men are afraid to feel, which is why they feel like they can't cry in front of nobody. They feel like they don't have a safe space. They feel like they got to be macho and strong all the time because you are blocking off your feminine, natural, organic principles of God. And you need to balance both. That's what makes you a true man of God. And if you can tap into your masculinity and femininity, because I don't want no man who's too feminine and I don't want no man too masculine. I want a man who's perfectly balanced. A man who knows how to be gentle but strong. A man who knows how to lead but follow. A man who knows how to be a teacher and a student. A man who knows how to love and give tough love, right? Then I will submit to you with no problem. But if I see that you are confused and you all over the place and you lack knowledge of yourself and you lack a relationship with the higher power and Christ consciousness, meaning you stupid, I'm not following you. I'm not going to submit to you because then I'll be shortchanging myself. And a lot of us women have done that. And now you are following women. Some of y'all with women who doing it. Women who acting just like these, those men that was in the Bible who, because they want to become the man. So at the end of the day, balance yourselves, okay? And we'll be all right. So I'm about to get out of here. I love y'all. Stay true. Be beautiful. Be you. Most of all, be real and be you. Authentic. Authentically you. You know what's going on with my words now. I'm tired. But I love y'all. Peace and love.